Wow, what a great day. Good morning. Come on in. Come on in, have a seat. We're going to get started here in just a second. I'll let some people know we're here. Get this out. There we go. Almost have it. One more. There it is. Good morning, chain breakers. Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday, January the 30th, 2019. I'm sorry, 2020. Old habits are hard to break, aren't they? This is going to be another amazing day because that's the way I choose for my day to be. Hi, I'm Brad Smith. I am your host for Chain Breakers 365 Live and the creator of hashtag Uplift and Rise. I want to welcome you here today. Going to be a great topic today. Good morning, Laura. Glad you jumped in here. You're always right on the ball, jumping in right away. Love everybody jumping in. We're going to have a super topic today. Talk about your ability to grow and what keeps it from growing and what does it take in order to be able to completely start moving forward in your plan, in your growth, in your creation of that better life. So we're going to get started here. Good morning, Susan. Glad you jumped in here. Good morning. Good morning, Midge. Glad you're here this morning. A lot of people starting to jump in now. Good morning. Come on in. So if you've ever noticed, hey, Andy Strader, glad you joined in here. So if you've ever noticed, I don't know if you live in the middle of the city, if you live more out the country, or if what your experience is necessarily, but if you've ever noticed a tree, trees many times will grow, and many times they'll grow very, very close together. I've had very sizable trees growing right next to each other. And while they may grow tall, they don't seem to really spread out very much because those around them will restrict their growth. Those around them will restrict their ability to spread out, to spread their ability to spread what it is that they can do. You could say that they are controlled by their environment. Hey, Kim Cardwell, glad you're here. Janine McConnell Hinkleman, glad you jumped in. So trees, absolutely, they're not able to spread out. They're not able to completely flourish and, let's say, spread their wings or their span of influence, right, where they cast their shade. They're not able to completely grow because of the way they're controlled by others. Hey, Nat Banks, glad you jumped in here. Terry LaPierre, glad you jumped in as well. So also, if you've ever taken a look at a goldfish, if we keep a goldfish in a little goldfish bowl, he stays about this small, right? But if we put him into an aquarium, say a 5 or maybe a 10-gallon, he'll grow to much larger lengths. But that same goldfish can now be put into a pond, and suddenly you end up with a fish this large. You see, in many cases, even goldfish are controlled, but in their growth, their ability to enlarge themselves, their ability to be larger by their environment as well. Hey, Jeff Baker, glad you're in here, my friend. So glad to have you back. Jeff has been down in Mexico getting his daughter married off. So destination wedding, and Jeff, your daughter looked absolutely beautiful. Congratulations, my friend. So you find that frequently fish and trees are controlled or limited in their growth by their environment. Sometimes their environment puts those physical effects on them, and sometimes an environment will limit them because as humans, we limit ourselves by knowing what our possibilities are. Many times our environment as humans even pulls us down and keeps us small. Why do they do that? Because in a lot of cases, our environment or those around us, our circle, they don't want to see us grow, because at that point, it diminishes them in relation to you because you're growing and they haven't. They have to take a very strong look at why it is that they're not flourishing while they're not growing. And they are so comfortable in that comfort zone and where their environment is that they don't want to take the risk and take the change that you have been willing to do to step out and become bigger themselves. So how do they end up limiting you? In many cases, what they do is they jump in and they start telling you, good meaning, well-meaning family, friends who are looking out for your best interest. What they're telling you is that you really can't do it, or that's so hard to do, or nobody succeeds at this, right? What they're doing is telling you that they don't have your vision. They don't have your ability. They can't see God's calling on your life. They are looking at it through their own limited vantage point, their own limited viewpoint, and that's why they can't see your ability. Good morning, Babette. Glad you jumped in here too. So many cases, those limitations keep you small. Are they doing it out of malice? No, very rarely does that actually happen. In many cases, we're controlled by those same people that want to absolutely look out for our best interest and claim that they love us. They don't realize how much they're pulling us down, how much they're limiting our growth, how much they're letting us, stopping us from becoming everything we can be. Hey, Susan Brierly and Mike Mills, glad you jumped in here too. Those well-meaning people have a even more limited viewpoint, more limited vantage point, because they haven't been exposed to the same things you've been exposed to. They haven't seen the possibilities that you've seen. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a big city, if an accident happens on the street out in front of you, and we go to poll several people that were nearby when it happened, and we start asking them what happened, who's at fault, where did it occur, how did all the circumstances take place, you'll see and you'll hear back a lot of different opinions based on what they think happened. I was at a meeting talking about some new things that are going to happen or are happening right now with the company that I work for. And many of us walked out of that meeting having heard the same thing, and we had several different opinions as to what we heard was going on. You see, a lot of cases we put our own limitations, or we hear with our own filters of what's there or what's possible. We put it in our own framework. We put it within our own paradigm, and what becomes possible becomes limited by that viewpoint or that vantage point. What we need to be able to do is knock the walls at an aquarium out. We need to be able to trim the forest. We need to be able to remove those limitations that keep us small, that keep us limited, that keep us from growing who we know we are capable of being, who God destined you to be. Many of those same limitations, many of those same walls, those trees, those glass containers, the box that you put yourself in, what is now your comfort zone, we have to be able to stretch. We have to be able to move. Here's the interesting thing. We will do that automatically. There is a dichotomy that exists within us. There are two forces that work in our lives. One is a need to be comfortable. One is a need to be comfortable, to be happy with where we're at, to not be willing to bring on pain. But there's another part of us that once things become too comfortable, we become bored. We become to a place where we don't see our growth any longer. We don't see where we really are, and we sometimes become our own worst enemies within our comfortable environment, because we start doing things to destroy that environment just to stir things up, just so we can feel some excitement again. So the need for boredom, or the need for consistency, and the need for excitement pull two different ways. What's winning at that time is up to you and the choice you make. You will do that in your environment, within your environment, or you can kick the ends out of that casket, that grave, and now that grave turns into a rut. But guess what? That rut you can climb out of. That rut was something that maybe held you back, but is no longer going to help you back because you kicked the ends loose. And as you do, that rut now no longer is insurmountable. That is something that you can absolutely attain. You can grow out of it. And my friends, here's the really nice part. I know that you're capable of it. I know that you have the ability to absolutely do that, and that you want to do that today. How do I know that? Why do you get in here? Why do you listen to these? Why do you listen to Glenn Lundy? Why do you listen to the Daily Dose when he's on? Why do you listen to Nat Banks? Because you are listening to the calling on your life. You are listening to the fact that you know you are destined for more, and you're looking to be inspired to be able to do it. My friends, here's the nice part. What it now takes, you can bring in all that motivation, you can bring in all that inspiration, you can bring all that feel good stuff. But until you are willing to take action yourself, until you are willing to stir up your comfort zone, until you're willing to step out, you have never stepped into the dream. You are never stepping towards the dream. Here's one thing I can tell you, or actually two. Not every dreamer is a winner. But I can guarantee you this, every winner is a dreamer. Let me repeat that. Not every dreamer is a winner, but not every winner is a dreamer. You hear me? What is the key difference? The key difference is action. You've got that plan. You've got the calling on your life. You know what's capable. You've got the tools. You've got the education. You've been doing it for how long? But it's now up to you to take that first step. It's now up to you to change your life for the good. If you don't like where you are, if you don't like the way your life is, if you don't like the fact that you haven't stepped into fulfillment of what you're capable of, my friends, have a meeting with the person in charge. Go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and talk to them, because that person in charge is you. There are more dreams that are never fulfilled because of fear, and fear causing inaction, than dreams that are never fulfilled through action. There are more dreams killed by fear than anything else. And it's time to start being courageous. We talked about this yesterday. Courage is not acting. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. Sorry, I'm going to back up just a little bit. Courage is not being fearless, right? Courage is acting despite fear. Fear, we know, in by far the majority of the cases, is false evidence appearing real. There is a key difference between fear and danger. There is a very key difference between fear and danger. If this is the chasm of fear, danger is way over here. Now, I'm not telling you fear isn't real, right? Because fear, when it's matched with danger, is. I'm not going to go to the top of a 100-story building and jump off because I'm fearful, or jump off because I'm overcoming that fear of heights, becoming that fear of altitude. No, 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 no. There is absolute danger in that. But being the boy in high school that was afraid to ask the popular girl out, that's nothing but fear. That's nothing but an unwillingness and a fear of what will happen. That's nothing but fear. When we're starting in new dating relationships, being honest with your feelings regarding the other person, that's fear. You're afraid of being hurt. You're afraid of having to face that pain if it doesn't work out. My friends, let me flip the same coin in every one of those cases. What is the worst that can happen? If I'm on that 100-story building, what's the worst that can happen? I'll die. But if it's a question of being honest with my emotions, it's being a question of being able to ask somebody out. If it's a question of being able to ask your boss for that raise, what's the worst that can happen? You are where you are without taking action. So you lose nothing. You lose nothing by taking action. But if you take action, what is the possibility of what you'll gain? Hey, Angie, glad you jumped in here. Misty, glad you jumped in here. I think I saw Adam Klostak in here. Glad you jumped in. My friends, there is so much you can accomplish just by being willing to step forward. My friends, as you move forward today, don't just make this a day worth remembering, but make sure that you are being a person that is memorable to others. I want to thank you so much for being here today. I want to thank you for joining in. We'll be back here tomorrow and every single Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Facebook Live on Chainbreakers 365 Live. If you have trouble finding us live, you can always find us in replay. If you like this video and want to see more, you can go to chainbreakers365.com or you can go to my YouTube channel, Chainbreakers 365 as well. While you're there, do me a favor, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Best way, though, always, is to be able to jump in and do this live along with everybody else. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Chainbreakers 365 Live. My friends, be memorable today and have an awesome, fantastic day. Take care. We'll see you then. Bye now.